Hello everyone, in this video I will go over my solution to the problem named Integers Have Friends. This problem was taken from today's Codeforces contest and I solved this problem in contest. If you saw my previous video, you'll know that I have solved problems A through D, and in the previous video I explained my solution to problem C, which was a nice problem on graph algorithms, and we learned a new data structure to handle edge additions and edge removals. In this problem also we'll have something new to learn, and it combines two very powerful techniques. So we'll learn from this problem how to combine two powerful techniques. The first technique is binary search and sliding window, and the second technique is sparse table. So we'll be using binary search and sliding window to find the max subarray satisfying some property, and we'll be using sparse table to handle range GCD queries. So these two very different ideas are actually combined to be the solution for this problem, and I'll show you how to easily do this. So in this problem we are given an array of n positive integers, and we need to find the maximum length of a good subarray. Now a good subarray is a subarray from indices I to j which satisfies the property that ai mod m is equal to ai plus 1 mod m is equal to aij mod m, and we basically need to satisfy this property, and in that case that subarray would be good. So we just need to answer this query for this question for t independent test cases. So in the first test case we are given the array 1 5 2 4 6, and the maximum good subarray is 246 because all those numbers are congruent to 0 modulo 2. In the second sample test case 8 2 5 are all congruent to 2 modulo 3, so the answer is 3. In the third sample test case, the whole array is a good array, and there are many modulo values. More specifically, all bases which are divisible by 1000 will work, and you can see that easily. So for example, when you take 1000 modulo 1000, the remainder will be 0, and when you take 2000 modulo 1000, the remainder is 0, and that's why the answer will be 2. And in the fourth sample test case, you can work it out by hand that the answer is 6. So now let's first consider the general strategy to approach such a problem. To approach any such problem which asks you to find the maximum subarray, the size of the maximum length of a good subarray, you should always consider two strategies. The first strategy is DP or dynamic programming, and this you can see in Cadane's algorithm, which finds the maximum length or the maximum sum of a subarray. So in that case we use DP. But the second idea which should always come to your mind is binary search, and that's what we'll be using in this problem. So even DP and binary search both were the first two ideas which came to my mind. I couldn't use DP because it's very weird in this problem. Like this condition is like just too weird for DP to work, but binary search definitely works, and that's what I'll be teaching you how to do. So we are binary searching on the length of the subarray. So the reason why this holds is because if AI is congruent to AI plus 1 is congruent to AJ mod M, then obviously that will also be true for I to J minus 1. So basically binary search will work because if the subarray from I to J is good, then the subarray from I to J minus 1 is also good. And if you know about binary search, then you know that this two conditions imply that binary search can be used. And if you don't know this, you should review binary search, because like this is the basic concept of binary search on answer. And this is and this can be proved by just considering the fact that AI is congruent to AI plus 1 is congruent to all the way is congruent to AJ minus 1 is congruent to AJ mod M. So this means that even this subarray, so even this subarray is good. So even the subarray from I to j minus 1 is good, and that's why we can use binary search. Now let's see how do we, reduce this complicated expression. So an easy way is, let's consider every two consecutive terms. So let's see that ai is congruent to ai plus 1 mod m. So first let's consider this. Then we know that ai plus 1 minus ai will be congruent to 0 mod m, and this is key. Similarly, ai plus 1 is congruent to ai plus 2 mod m, means that ai plus 2 minus ai plus 1 is congruent to 0 mod m. And similarly, you can repeat the same logic for numbers up to aj minus 1 is congruent to aj mod m. This means that aj minus or aj minus aj minus 1 is congruent to 0 mod m. And this is key because this set of equations is much easier to work with. And why is that true? Because we can remember that m is not fixed, m is variable. And the moment we have something like 0 mod m, we know that this 0 mod m actually means divisibility. So we have reduced some complicated modular equations to something much simpler, that is divisibility. So now let's just consider the values ai plus 1 minus ai plus 2 minus ai plus 1, and all the way up till aj minus 1. Then the key thing is that the GCD of these numbers is m. Like this is what we'll choose m to be. And this is powerful. This is the answer. And this is like all you need to know to be able to complete this problem. Now, why is this true? This is true because we know that if the GCD of all these numbers is m, then we know that ai plus 1 minus ai is basically 0 mod m, and ai plus 2 minus ai plus 1 is also 0 mod m, and basically all these equations work out and everything basically gets simplified. And like this is the whole crux of the problem. So now that we know that, we just take the GCD of all these elements to be m. Let's go back to the problem statement and let's see the fact that m is greater than or equal to 2. So this essentially means that if the GCD of all these numbers is greater than or equal to 2, then we are done. So in conclusion, the only condition for a subarray to be good is that the GCD of this entire term, of this entire set of terms, should be greater than or equal to 2. So this condition which I have written on top is the only condition for a subarray to be good. And now you should pause the video and try it on yourself, and then I'll show you how to basically reduce the problem further. So let's say that the value which you are binary searching on is mid, and then let's say that we consider every starting point I. So note that this is not exactly sliding window, but this is kind of similar to sliding window. We actually don't use sliding window exactly, but we consider every starting point I. So let's consider every starting point I, and let's basically use the value of mid. So we know that the subarray will be I plus 1, I plus 2, and all the way up till I plus mid minus 1. And then let's basically use the logic which we developed over here, which is the GCD of the differences to be greater than 1. So this means that we need GCD of the differences ai plus 1 minus ai plus 2 minus ai plus 1, and all the way up till ai, basically the last value minus the second last value. This whole GCD should be greater than 1. And that's all that we need to do. So if there is any starting point I, so if any such I exists, then basically check of mid is true, or basically we can form a subarray with length mid, and we basically set L to be mid plus 1. We binary search on the right half, otherwise we binary search on the left half. So this basically is the crux of the problem, making the observation, and then then it's just simple. We just consider every starting point I. Now we need to figure out how do we compute this efficiently. So that can be done either using segment tree or using um, sparse table, and I use sparse table because like sparse table is much easier to implement than a segment tree, and this is a GCD function, so like GCD can be done easily using sparse table, and I'll show you how to implement it. The implementation which I used was from CP algorithms. I think I basically adapted a slight modification of what they had said. So I didn't use too much understanding in implementing the sparse table because that's just standard stuff. You can just Google sparse table and you'll basically get this code. So I basically used these two codes to compute the range GCD to compute this value efficiently. And instead of sum, I basically did GCD. So I'll show you how that is done in the code. But the main crux of the problem is the observation, and then basically realizing that you need to use some data structure to compute range GCD. So now let's look at the code. First, I taken the value of t, the number of test cases. For each test case, I taken the arrays A, and I basically use a new array B to represent AI minus 1. Like this is just a small implementation detail like related to how I efficiently compute the GCDs. Then I use a sparse table. The initialization is like something like this. The exact same thing I used for the sparse table. So table I zeros bi. And remember that I'm using a sparse table. So this is important. Sparse table for range GCD on the array B. The reason why we are using array B is because we want a range GCD on the differences. That's why for simplicity, I use an array B and range GCD on array B. Then basically this is the base case for the sparse table and this is the recurrence for the sparse table. And now let's look at the binary search. So in the binary search, I compute the value of answer and I print the answer in the end. Now the main thing is this Boolean value is. So if is this true, then answer is mid and L is mid plus 1, otherwise R is mid minus 1. Now let's look at the main part of the code which like checks for the value of mid. Like basically checks if is this true at any point. So note that I goes from 1 to n minus mid, n minus mid plus 1, and this is because like the subarray from n minus mid plus 1 of length mid will end at position n. That's why this is the last index. So that's why we use the variable n minus mid plus 1. And now we just do a range GCD on for computing this term. Now over here there are two important things. The first important thing is that the range GCD is from I plus 1 to I plus mid minus 1. So that's basically corresponding to B of I plus 1, B of I plus 2, and all the way up till B of I plus mid minus 1. So this is an important like working to do. So we do range GCD from I plus 1 to I plus mid minus 1. This is basically our L value and our R value. This computes the GCD of from L to R. This is like just standard stuff, like you can take it from here, the GCD from L to R. And then another important thing is that once we find the GCD value which is stored in variable val, this is an important thing. It actually cost me I think like 2 wrong pretests. You need to do absolute value of val to be greater than 1. Like these two are wrong. The correct thing is like what I submitted over here, which is absolute value of val to be greater than 1. That's one thing. The other thing is that like don't put absolute value greater than 1. Val can also be equal to 0. Like there are some weird cases in which val can be equal to 0, and like it's I don't think that actually ever happens, but like it's a border case. So if in case val is equal to 0 or the absolute value of val is greater than 1, then we basically know that this is a good summary. Otherwise, we just continue with the next starting point. And this is the code like which gives past pretest, and like now it's in queue, but it gave past pretest when I submitted the code in the contest. So this is basically my solution for problem D. So if you like my solution and if you like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also do consider subscribing to my channel for more such content. Thank you.